Today, on Starfield Essentials, I finally review the biggest expansion to Starfield by a studio not called Bethesda. This is Watchtower by Kinggath Creations, available for 1,000 credits on Creations. I'll give an overview, describe new mechanics, give warnings, and finish with my conclusion. Bonus gameplay spoilers appear at the end of the video. My name is Richard. Let's get started. Overview. Watchtower is an achievement-friendly creation, if that worries you. Kinggath Creations released Watchtower on May 22, 2025. The last update was published in December 2025. I first tried Watchtower when it was released, but I ran into a progression limit. Because my testing character did not yet know what the Starborn were, I was unable to trigger a certain quest within Watchtower. I was also overwhelmed by the additions to the game loop. I put Watchtower aside and moved on to other content. Over the last few weeks, however, my favorite Starfield speedrunner, Toyful9000, has been crushing Watchtower completion records. I didn't want to watch his entire runs because they would spoil the ending of the Watchtower creation for me. I decided to create a new character specifically for Watchtower and play the creation through to the end of the main quest. My last video shows how I created that character. In brief, the key change was to have the character go through Unity before playing Watchtower. That way, his Starborn identity would unlock gated content in this creation. There was one glitch that I will cover in the warning section. What is the premise of Watchtower? Basically, Watchtower refers to a new faction invented by Kinggath Creations. Watchtower hunts entities like your player, and you have to find a way to escape or stop them. The creation adds 3 major new NPCs to the game. First is Torin, who can accompany the player on adventures.
Ah, and there he is. Welcome to Stardock Alpha, My name is Torin. We can get more into who I am later. I promise.
Second is Gren, who is a former Watchtower operative. He's the tech guy who can improve your ship, buy and sell gear, and other useful activities.
Well, aren't you delightful? If you're curious, please, feel free to ask any questions you might have. Unwell? No. In fact, right now I'm likely in better health than anyone on this station.
Third is Harper, who runs a new star station in orbit around Piazzi 4C. She's also proficient with extracting intelligence from certain Watchtower loot.
First rule, this is my home and you're a guest, so behave yourself. But so long as you don't cause trouble, my docking bays are always open. With that out of the way, welcome to Stardock. I think that's what we ended up calling this place.
The more you play Watchtower, the more the new star station, called Stardock, evolves. For example, eventually Harper recruits a doctor named Lane to staff a clinic. She offers cyber amps that will help with Watchtower missions.
There's always something breaking around here. You must be Harper's friend. Dr. Sophia Lane, formerly of the field surgeons. And apparently I've been roped into some sort of project. I'll admit. Well, aren't you a charmer? Oh, careful now, or you may end up with more than just my professional attention.
The Trade Authority later opens a storefront, so you can sell them contraband.
Yes, what? This is what I have.
There are a few other improvements, but I haven't yet unlocked them all. What do you do in Watchtower? There is a basic set of activities that you must accomplish in order to unlock the final mission to defeat Watchtower as a powerful enemy faction. Watchtower operates a network of ground-based listening stations and orbital-based listening arrays. Working with Harper, the player identifies the locations of these ground-based facilities and raids them. Within the listening station, the player will find coordinates for the orbital listening arrays. Finding these coordinates unlocks the ability to find the orbital array, which the player must then destroy. During this process, the player will be able to loot intelligence and equipment from Watchtower. These offer opportunities to find more targets and improve the technology available to the player. Beyond the minor arrays, Watchtower also operates major or hub arrays. These are difficult targets that can have dozens of independent adversaries. Next, new game mechanics. To facilitate destroying these objectives, the Watchtower creation offers a fleet-building game mechanic. This is more complicated and involved than the system provided by the Fleet Commander creation by Korodic. The Watchtower Fleet Command system allows adding up to 8 more ships to a fleet, for a total of 9. The player remains in control of their own ship. You must assign NPCs as crew to each ship in your fleet. These can be named NPCs, like Gideon Acre or whomever, or unnamed NPCs that you hire in bars. Generally, while the NPC is assigned to a fleet ship, they are unavailable to accompany the player. Whenever you return to Stardock, you will see your NPC ship crew loitering in the bar area. Note that Fleet Commander doesn't require assigning an NPC as crew, and it supports 4 additional ships. I used the Watchtower fleet system plus Fleet Commander in my playthrough. I was careful to track the ships assigned to Watchtower and the ships assigned to Fleet Commander. The 2 creations worked together without issues. I had around 10 ships in my total fleet, with 2 managed by Fleet Commander and the rest by the Watchtower system. Completing the creation requires adding at least 1 ship to a fleet. The rationale behind this requirement is that only 2 or more ships working together can tactically survive an encounter with the Watchtower faction due to their specialized weaponry. A second mechanic introduced by Watchtower is the Skydrop system. You have to use the Skydrop in a few scenarios in order to complete Watchtower missions. The Skydrop system introduces new ship building components that provide support to players while on the ground. When you equip a ship not operated by the player with a Skydrop system, you can leave the ship in orbit and call down various combat options from the heavens. These might be missiles or other offensive effects, combat robots, or medical supplies and ammunition. To be honest, I barely used this in the game. I didn't think any of the Skydrops were that important to my combat effectiveness. Instead, I used the modular explosive delivery system drones to augment my firepower. I also used NPC spawner Danger Zone to bring squads of UC Marines into the fight. Skydrops do play a key role in finishing Watchtower, so I'll mention that in the spoiler section. Ship salvage is another new mechanic, but it's a minor one. Basically, when you commandeer an enemy ship, you have the option to mark it for salvage. That means that after you leave it, Gren will strip it for parts and reward you with credits. This is an alternative to adding the ship to your inventory and selling it later. This makes sense if you play a vanilla game where the limit is 10 ships, although that can artificially increase if the game awards a ship like the Star Eagle or Razorleaf for quest completion. The one time I tried this mechanic, I only got 1,000 credits for 2 ships. I made much more money by selling loot to Gren. Next, warnings. I have a fair number of warnings for you, but all can be mitigated. First, you have to recognize that Watchtower is a significant expansion for the game. It's effectively a DLC, given the scope of the changes it brings to Starfield. Essentially, the settled systems become infected with these Watchtower listening posts. You're subjected to Watchtower ambushes that can be overwhelming for some players. There are 2 ways to manage this. The creation itself offers a gameplay setting that influences how often Watchtower ships will ambush the player in space. In December 2025, Ghost Rider 231 released a free creation called Watchtower, Chill the F Out. This gives more options to decrease or increase the frequency of Watchtower ambushes. I played using this creation and tuned it to my liking. Second, the space battles in this creation can be taxing on lower-end computer hardware. Although Bethesda improved Starfield performance on lower-end hardware last year, Watchtower is still a beast at times. You'll find yourself in battles with upwards of a dozen ships, or possibly more targets, when drones or other space assets are included. I ran Watchtower on my main gaming PC, which has an NVIDIA 4070 Ti Super with 16 gigs of VRAM, an AMD 7600X CPU, and 64 gigs of RAM, although 32 would have been plenty. The game ran smoothly for me. I wouldn't expect the same experience running Watchtower on my Xbox Series S. Third, I had a few stability problems with Watchtower. The game locked up a few times. If I remember correctly, each lockup occurred during a big ground or star station battle. It's entirely possible that my use of mods like NPC Spawner Danger Zone, which added a squad of UC Marines to my party, pushed the engine over the edge. I was always able to load an old save and resume the fight. My advice is to save frequently at important points in play. This is one reason it helps to have a relatively simple character with a small save file. The bigger the save file, the more state the game engine must manage. Fourth, speaking of characters, because Watchtower significantly alters the game, I recommend playing with a Watchtower specific character. I don't think I would add Watchtower to my favorite custom load order for a long-lived character. That's why I built a dedicated character for Watchtower, as shown in my last video. My process in that video created a Starborn character who had been through Unity, but who did not have any Starborn powers. It turns out that exercising a specific Starborn power is required to complete a key Watchtower quest. I was able to overcome this problem by using a console command as shown here, player.addspell 2BACB7, which added the Gravity Well power. If I'd been playing on Xbox, I would have had to have used something like the Cheat Terminal or Ramtech to do the same. My fifth warning involves a specific quest, but I'll just give the details without spoiling anything. Near the end of the creation, you have to clear space-based enemy targets from around a star station. Some of these are particle turrets. Early in the battle, Torin will say, "That's all the station turrets, nice." The problem is, I had not yet destroyed all of the particle turrets. So, even after destroying the Watchtower ships, I couldn't board the star station. I had to hunt down all the particle turrets before I could board. My sixth and final warning involves a couple instances of dialogue glitches. I had two interactions with Harper and Torin that saw the two of them talking over each other.
Can't regulate the station's power core.
Besides,
No,
how
they
was your
didn't.
supply run? Those surgeon guys have everything.
This was annoying, but the game continued without problems. Next, conclusion. Is Watchtower worth 1,000 credits? For me, it is. I might have paid twice that for the amount of content and expansion that this creation offers. When I say content, I mean it. This is one of the biggest creations available. Completing the main quest took me about 10 hours. However, that didn't remove Watchtower from the settled systems. It just dealt them a severe setback. I still have plenty of ground and space-based targets to pursue and handle. It could take me another 10 hours to accomplish all that. I thought the story and pacing were excellent. Although I correctly anticipated the big reveal, I appreciated that it was done in an engaging manner. I thought Torin and the other NPCs were awesome, with excellent professional voice acting. Each had unique personalities and deep dialogue options. The lore behind this creation made total sense to me. I actually spent a lot of time asking a Watchtower computer to tell me everything it could about Watchtower and the Starborn. The new game mechanics were implemented very well. I did mention that I don't use skydrops, and for non-Watchtower tasks, I don't need a massive fleet. However, I appreciated both mechanics. This creation featured many big battles and boss fights. I thought they were all well staged and enjoyable. Watchtower is a combat-heavy creation, so if you don't like fighting, you might not like Watchtower. If you have trouble fighting in space, I highly recommend adding automatic turrets to your ship. That way, you can concentrate on flying, and your turrets will handle shooting. I always have a particle beam weapon in slot 3 on my ships for this very reason. Overall, I consider Watchtower to be a third-party DLC, and I'm very glad to own and play it. It's been very successful for Kinggath Creations, and I look forward to their future releases. Check out my video from June 2025 that features Kinggath discussing the success of Watchtower. Stay tuned for my bonus gameplay spoilers after the outro. Thank you, Kinggath Creations, for your work. And thank you to all my subscribers. Please consider subscribing to show YouTube that you enjoy positive and honest Starfield content. Special thanks to all channel members. I hope you're enjoying our private Discord server. If you'd like to know more about membership, click the join button on the channel. There's no obligation. I use your contributions to pay for drives for capturing footage and to buy creations like Watchtower to review. What have you been doing in Starfield? Your insights make this channel a place for positive and honest discussion of the game. In addition to videos, I also post to the community tab for this channel on a daily basis. If you subscribe, you'll see these posts in your YouTube feed. If you made it to this part of the video, please leave a comment with the word Skydrop. Also, remember to ring the bell icon and select all notifications. Check out my other videos, and please tell your friends about the channel. And now we will have some bonus gameplay footage. These will include spoilers, so you are warned. My first footage shows my character and a squad of UC Marines assaulting Heimdall Station. I spawned these Marines using NPC spawner Danger Zone. Check this out. Oh, so there's some of my party members, but the Marines go charging in. Oh, I love it. I love it when the Marines take some initiative and don't hang back and wait for me. So without me having to lead the way here, I said, all right, I'm just going to sit here and see what happens. This is so great. I think this is a really fun way to play the game. If you haven't tried NPC Spawner Danger Zone, it's a free mod available on Creations and Nexus mods, and it allows you to spawn friendlies and hostiles. I usually spawn friendlies like this. Look at them all just charging forward. Go, go Marines! Take the station! This to me is a lot more realistic than a single character with perhaps one or two companions going after an entire station. Why not show up with a whole set of UC Marines? Oh, I love it. For the second bit of spoiler footage, I'm going to go to a battle that happened prior to the assault on Heimdall Station. Here we have the battle down on the planet Pyras 2, and this is why I don't use skydrops. My character was just taking down those mechs with my Arboron rifle from the Vulture from the Trackers Alliance overpriced mini DLC, and my character's out there firing his rifle, but I also have my squad of UC Marines with me. So I love throwing in NPCs that are on your side and using them to do a lot of the work. Clearly my character has to be involved and does work as well, but it doesn't make any sense that you'd had these sort of system galaxy whatever wide threats and you'd be taking them on by yourself. Now, I wanted to share this as well because this was a great example of some of the cool mechanics that Kinggath Creations threw into Watchtower. I mean, mechanic probably isn't the right word here. I think it's just more of a creative choice, but they integrated the use of the skydrop here, and here Gren is warning that there's a big skydrop coming in, and it's kind of neat to see the skydrops that brought the mechs nearby, but you go ahead and loot the mech, and oh no, something is just dropping in. And I guess one of the only issues I had with this particular location was that there were these sandstorms. I really wish it had been easier to avoid them. I did try some fast traveling earlier to try to get a clear weather for the video. Getting stuck here in this rock, but I really liked how these fake armillaries showed up. You know, Watchtower created armillaries, and it was up to the character and the party to do something about them. And you ended up having to take these things down. Actually, the first one I think you could take down just with general weaponry, but you had to use a skydrop to take down the other ones. So I thought this was really cool. This was a way to integrate core Starfield ideas of the Armillary, but put an interesting twist on them. Yeah, see, there I am. I'm just firing away. I think with the Varun Inflictor, I figured that was my best weapon to try to shoot this thing. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this part of the creation, you've seen this before. So that was really fun. For my next bit of spoiler footage, I wanted to point out a very subtle detail that I hope many of you noticed. And if you didn't, maybe when you see this, you'll enjoy it even more. When I was talking to the Watchtower computer, I noticed that if you looked outside the windows, you could see the battle occurring. So there we go. Look at that fire outside. That's so cool. And along the way, we should see some ships show up here. I just think this was a great testament to both the design of this creation and also the ability of the creation engine to have activity occurring outside while the character is doing something inside. People talk about immersion all the time. I'm not exactly an immersion person, but the ability to be doing something inside the space station and to see activity outside of it that was having an effect on your gameplay, I thought that was a really nice touch. For the next spoiler, I wanted to share the moment where you're with Torin in the black and white Earth world. This is what you see if you make a plea to save Torin and you don't let him sacrifice himself on your behalf. And there's a lot that happens here. I'm not going to show all of it, obviously, but I thought this was pretty creative. Just making something simple like a black and white background really added something to the scene. Now, I'm using the simple immersive looting mod here, and I'm finding all of these deceased starboard. So every single one I found along the way, I used that mod to grab their starboard suit. So I think when I left this location, I probably had like 20 starboard suits of all different varieties and colors and everything, which is pretty cool. I don't know if that was the result of a mod that I was using, the variety in the starboard suits, because I know I have a mod that does that, but that was pretty fun. Well, the problem I had, as I mentioned earlier in the video, was this character does not have any starborn powers because of the way that I created him. So what I had to do was add the Gravity Well starborn power using a console command. And there are other ways to do that, but once I was able to add Gravity Well as a power, and thankfully that's all it took in this case, I was able to blast I was able to blast the whatever this thing was, some kind of depowered armillary. I had to assign the Gravity Well to a slot here so that I could use it. Unfortunately, I forgot that my UC Marines who were nearby would be affected by the Gravity Well, so sorry about that, UC Marines. A few of you will make it out, but not everyone. For the final spoiler, I wanted to show escaping from the destroyed station. I thought the use of this skydrop as an escape pod was just genius. I really like this. There's Torin standing there. He gives the salute. I love it. This is so good. Bye, Torin. Oh, I love it. Look at that. Yep, my cat loves it too. Look at the exploding station. So great. Oh, and there's one of my NPCs who is assigned to me. It's probably the pirate captain. This is just the best. Great job. Yes, my cat Gronk likes it too. Now let's finish the scene. This is at double speed. When I first did this, I was confused because once my character landed, I just sat there. I thought I had soft lock somehow, but it turns out you just have to sit and be patient, wait for Torin to get out of his skydrop. Yes, my cat is impatient. I guess there's no lock probably if you're doing this alone and there is no Torin to wait for, but if you're playing this and you let Torin live, then you have to just wait until he exits the vehicle. And now we will go back to normal speed and Torin will walk over.
Hey, nice of you to make an appearance.
I have one more bit of news. I just watched Sweetpea's interview with Kinggath on Twitch. Kinggath said there is more content for Watchtower planned. There's already new content for post-Unity play, but Kinggath plans to add even more variation. He mentioned being inspired by the movie Groundhog Day. It would be fun to improve the gameplay and decision branches with each Unity jump. He and designer Richard Sirik also have plans for more character development for Torin. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. There's a little bit more space left in the 2 gig file size now that they've refactored Watchtower a bit. So I am looking forward to what comes next from Kinggath Creations, whether it's additions to Watchtower or new creations. My name is Richard, and I will see you in the Starfield.